Hi, this is Dale O'Shills, pastor of Church of the Redeemer, and thanks so much for joining me for devotional time. So glad that you've been a part of this week together. I'm going to talk today about how do you deal with grudges in your life. You know, all of us get hurt by people. We have things that happen, offenses that come up in our relationships, and if we're not careful, we can hold on to those things. We can nurse those wounds internally, and the grudges will grow and resentment will grow, and then we get into the mode of paying back people for the kind of things we feel like they have done to us. Well, over and over again in Scripture, we're warned about dealing with this resentment thing in our life, bitterness and resentment and grudges that build up. Let me read you a passage from Proverbs chapter 20, verse number 22. Don't ever say, God says, don't ever say, I'm going to get even with them if it's the last thing that I do. Wrap God's grace around your heart, and He will be the one to vindicate you. I love that statement. Wrap God's grace around your heart, and He will be the one to vindicate you. When it comes to dealing with hurts and offenses in life, we can choose to pay back, or we can choose to let God pay back. We can choose to take things into our own hands or leave things in God's hands, but we can't do both. Either you're going to handle it or God's going to handle it. And the wisest thing and the most important thing that we can do when we've been hurt by someone is to put it in God's hands, because God first knows how to heal our hearts, and then He also knows how to deal effectively with other people. We need to move beyond the eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth mentality. Martin Luther King Jr. made this statement. He said, if we live by the eye for an eye mentality, he said that both of us become blind, and how true that is. If we're always plucking somebody else's eye out after they plucked ours out, then we end up with just lots of blindness in our world, in our society. What we want in all of our relationships is the ability to see beyond the offenses and to wrap grace around our hearts, to live in love and let God handle things His way.